Good afternoon, everybody. I'm just double checking to make sure it's recording. This phone is doing something funny out. It doesn't want to, when I swipe unlock, and I swipe up and I think I've unlocked it, I haven't been. So this is a part 2 of the different pockets from, and it's not just one type of pocket master made, because we do that sometimes, but just taking random things that we have every day, recycled items, and seeing what we can do for pockets. So in the first one, we made this pocket, but I took it a step further because I hadn't finished this when I did this one. So eventually I have to finish that. We did this one, and this one I have to fix because I didn't glue that well. So that was the initial part where we built the actual pocket using a piece of paper and a book page. And then I took another, I had this printed off. I don't know what I was going to use it for, sitting in a pile of papers. So I put a long pocket here. So there's a pocket here. And then I took what's left over the scrap. I just made a small lip on the other side just to put a little decoration on that side. And at first, the last pocket, I glued that right down, but I thought, why not make it a tuck, except for I got to just fix that. And we did that pocket. I love doing these pockets. This could also not only be like glued down and be a flip type thing in it, and then have a pocket behind. Excuse me. It could be a page in the actual journal. So in amongst your papers, let's just say this is a group of papers, you could do it like this as well and do that, or you can glue it down and you'll have a nice flip pocket. So you could glue it down solid if you don't want to add any more to it, or you can do the 3 sides and have pocket up there, and it could be quite a little bit of extra pockets. So we did that one yesterday. Then we just did these nice simple ones with book pages and folded it over. We did a couple of those. And these are nice to keep on hand, and you don't necessarily have to decorate the background. You could just make a bunch of them and fold them over and staple them and have them ready to go. In this case, I know I have a lot of upcoming journals that I have to finish, that this color palette would go in it. So I went ahead and collaged it. And this was just a ready-made cluster I had on hand. And then with this one, we put that, but we took a label and we created another little pocket and decor. And this is one of the labels I make. And I sell these in Purple Heart Creations by Chrissy in Facebook. And I'll have a link below. So we did that. And I only did 2 of them because I have quite a few of these still that I have in my box, but you could easily do some more yourself. These are great to send for Happy Mail, because even if you wanted to, you could add another book page to it. I don't think I have another book page handy. I think I used them all. I did, but if you took another book page, you could make it a nice loaded pocket, or take a piece of cardstock even and put it on the cardstock and create another pocket at the top that they could put on. So you could, and turn it into a loaded pocket and use it in Happy Mail as well. So we made those types. So these are a few that you can mass make. They're pretty easy, even with doing the collaging up ahead of time. It's a good way to use scraps up. Pull out your scraps, pull out your book pages, and make yourself some of these pockets to put in your mass make pocket box. Then I took this one I did yesterday that I thought I did record it, but I didn't. All I did with this pocket, now watch me not have a digital, oh, and we did, before I do this one, we're going to do 2 types of pockets today. So this one was just, I don't know why I had cut half of the envelope off and one side was open. I don't know what I was doing. So I went ahead and glued the one side down. Before I glued it down, I added a paper in the background, and then I just collaged the front up and made a pocket out of a piece of random item, and then you can put your obviously this doesn't have a picture, but you could put your here's a journal card. You don't see the full picture, but and then it peeks through, right? So you can do that. And that was just because I had half an envelope. I took, because on my side of my desk here is just a bunch of random things. It's got envelopes, because when I get my mail, I open my mail on my other desk and I just throw it on this side. So I get piled up with envelopes. So, and then like, there's all kinds of junk in here that I'm trying to work through. So I've got more envelopes there. These are my shredded wheat, and I turn those into pockets. I've done that in another video on just what's on my desk. So that's what a lot of this is. It's trying to clean up this stuff. Now I could take all those envelopes and throw them in my recycled. I have a container I keep all of my stuff that I'm recycling and using, but it's so full, I decided I'm going to work on clearing that up. So that stuff is there. And then I have a bunch of scrap papers. That's one bundle. I have more of these piles. And I use a piece of it like this. I used couple pieces of it, and it then ended up in a pile. I made a vintage tag out of this, and it ends up in the pile. And I have these piles everywhere. So I'm trying to clean them up. So, oh, this will be perfect for what I'm looking for. No, that's for Rachel's and Bella's. I have to do a video of that because I want to catch up on that. I'm doing the Rachel and Bella collaboration. I've not done much of it, but I did one video on it. So that's that, just the random envelope. And I just took that scrap, instead of putting it over there in the bin and more collection, I went ahead and used it, and I'll put that in my pocket thing, and I know exactly what journal I can put it in. So we're going to make this pocket and this pocket, this pocket and this pocket. We'll start with this one. So you might have you may not have digitals like I do. I have lots of digitals. I love digitals. I use a lot of digitals. I know a lot of people use magazines and book pages and all kinds of things. I'm very limited on book pages up here. I hoard my book pages because I can't find real vintage book pages. For some things, I'll just buy a Dollar Tree book, and, you know, if I'm covering it or I'm inking on it or I'm going to use it all and you're not going to really see the book page, I'll use that. And I'm getting my music pages. I'm still pretty good with them, but even they're getting low, and I'm not going back to Guelph till June to be able to find some more. Boo Boo, there's no more food, baby. I don't even know. Oh, you're over there. Yes, it's time for you for sleepies. No more food for your belly. Let's go. And girls, I'm just going to put her up on the couch. Cuddle her up in the blanket. All right. Have your nap. Sometimes I have to do that for her to stop begging for food. Is if I put her in either on my couch, I have a blanket on the couch because she likes to get all cozy. It's a Christmas comforter, but I love that Christmas comforter. Oh, she's coming back. But you're not getting anything. No. I know what I'll do. I'll put a blanket beside me. Maybe then you'll cuddle up and relax a little bit. Here. Here, my baby. They are spoiled. Both her and her sister. There, baby. Here, come lay on the blanket. There you go. Now she's going to lay on the blanket. If I put a bag down or a blanket on the floor, she'll lay beside me and sort of be quiet for a bit, hopefully. So you can do this with book pages. You could do this with music pages. But there are things that I have a hard time getting where I live. So for me, I use more digitals. And a year and a half ago, maybe it's been 2 years, I invested in my printer. Didn't cost me much, and I got the HP on the HP program. Before I had a Canon printer. It was a great printer, but the ink for it was so expensive. Whew. So I donated that printer. I think I even just put it out on the front, like for the garbage. Not so much for the garbage, but I know somebody will go by and pick it up, and it happened within an hour. Someone picked it up. But, and I got an HP. And I made sure when I bought my HP that you have to be careful because not all the HPs have the ink program. So even new ones, you have to make sure that does, and mine did. So, and it was under $100, so that made it even better. And I think I had a gift card from my birthday. So, and what I did to do this pocket, now this one, somehow I had made a mistake on printing it, and that's why that paper was there. I printed the wrong thing on the back of it. And so it lucked out because it had that nice little line there. So now this one is actually a tall one. But what I might do, but if I do that, I want more of that rose in it. That's the only thing. Maybe I don't want to do that one. I'll do that one with the other pocket. Excuse me. I don't want to hide that beautiful rose image in the middle. We'll go ahead and do this. I'm not too worried about being straight when I fold it over. I can straighten it up a little bit more. My lines aren't too bad most of the time. But some days, it can be bad. So this would make a really long pocket. And you could do that if you want. If you want to make a nice tall pocket, because this would be great that you could come in, you glue this up, and you could add another pocket to the front of it and have, of course it would be more to the same size, right? And do more of that if you wanted to. But I'm just going to see how far down I want that pocket. I like about this size. Okay, so I want to go about there. Where's my ruler? And yes, I can make that into a pocket because there's nothing wrong. I could do this. I could double this up if I wanted to. So let's try doing that. And all this is a folded over piece of paper. Now of course, I'm going to have to trim it up a bit, but I'm going to wait till I glue it and the glue dries a little. And then I'll get when I cut it, when it's flimsy, I make more mistakes. The thing is, I am definitely going to be punching a hole here. So I'm going to do that just now so I can see whereabouts I'm doing it. And this hole punch has been giving me a little bit of a problem. See? Oh, it's not all. Sometimes it clicks all the way through. I need to get some tin foil when I go up to have lunch later. Bring some tin foil and sharpen them all up. I think that's the only way you can sharpen them up that I know of. If anybody knows another way to get those sharp again. Now this is one I got a few years ago and it was used. So it's gotten good wear and tear. So I can do two things. I could take this part that I punched out and I can turn it upside down and just glue it there if you want. Or you could take, if you want it to have a little bit of contrast, take something and just glue it on the inside. And that's what I'm going to do because I like how that looks. Now I don't have to use that whole piece. I'm going to cut it in half so I can use it down there. Because you're not, but maybe I won't, too late now. Now that I'm thinking about it, I wished, so that when the pocket open, you see it all. See, now I wished I would have thought that through better. That happens. So let's just find something else. Again, that's not long enough. Now that I did that silliness, that's going to be a problem. Or do I just, never mind, and just go ahead and do it? Because it's going to be there anyways. Yeah, we're just going to do that. I'm not going to stress over it. Let's do that. So, and this is just by folding, I'm just folding a paper in half. A scrap paper that's, well, it's not really it's a large scrap, but obvious I had used it for something, and that, where that punch is not laying right. So let's just fix that up a little bit better. And then before I seal it, I found it easier to ink. So like, pockets don't have to be these complex things. And like, this is a pretty simple pocket to do. And if you're like me and have piles of paper, grab your piles of paper and go through what you can make these pockets. Right? That's all it takes. I'll rust up later. That inside still needs a little more ink. There we go. There we go. We'll just do that. There we go. And then all I'm going to do now, of course, when I glue this, I'm going to have to fix it a bit. And I'm going to line, I left the lid off of this, so I hope that it didn't dry too bad. Oh, nope, there we go. And I don't want to lose too much of the pocket, so I'm trying to do it as thin. And no, I don't have one of those. I keep saying I'm going to have to get like a sugar bottle, and I have to find one. And I don't use glitter glue because I can't justify $22 for a bottle or more for a little bottle here. It's not widely available here in Canada. I know in Amazon.com they had a really good sale on it, and one of my groups posted it, and I know a lot of ladies, and that's nice when ladies do that so that ladies can catch it. And when I saw it, I went straight to Amazon.ca to see if they were offering the same special, but they weren't. But that's okay. I kind of knew it wasn't, but you know, part of me was kind of hoping at the same time. So, and then I just evened it off. That's it. It was easier to do in glue. And there you have a pocket. Oops. That scrap went where I didn't want it to go, and I can't see it. So then, like, I would put more of a tag. This is more of a journal card. And then you can put it in there. Then, like, for instance, because I cut this in half, I can do this two ways. Again, let's see if this works better this time. There, see? Why sometimes it works and why sometimes it doesn't, I don't know. I just don't know. Why don't I do this before I want to glue? I do want to ink that up a little bit more. Sometimes when I know that the pocket might show a little, I'll just take some of the ink down that pocket a bit so it's not so starch white. I do that sometimes. Just, if I would have been thinking, I would have put it all the way through, but then I was thinking, oh, I can save some of that paper. You know. My mother has a saying for that thought thing, but it's not really appropriate, so I just do it. So there we go. Now let's ink this up. Just get some ink. I need to put some ink on my pad tonight before bed and let it soak through. I keep forgetting to put this one upside down. Someone told me if you store the Tim Holtz upside down like this, it helps keep the ink to the top. But I also find that I think after a while, even when I have my walnut stain, that it's my favorite. I went back to Vintage Photo because my walnut stain wasn't working really well. But someone told me, I think they just eventually you can keep re-inking, but they get so dry that you can't. So I think I'm going to buy a new pad. But I won't waste that pad. I'll make paper out of it. I'll use it to dye some paper. It'll still get a lot of life before I do that. It's just they were out of stock on Amazon.com, so I have a notify me when it's back in stock. I don't know if I put enough glue on that. Sometimes I try to not use a lot, but then I don't use enough. So again, I'm just going to trim that bit of white off where it wasn't even. And this is just set of scraps on the desk. And then we take and we'll ink up the sides a little. I'm not going to do them really heavy, just enough to put. I find sometimes with when you fold things in half and that, you get a little bit of the white showing. So then you could do it two ways. You could then glue this on it and stack it, and then you would have 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets. Or if you want it, do I have a page I can show it on? The only journal I got sitting beside me is this one because I'm working on it. So let's find an empty page so I can show you. This is perfect. But if you wanted to, you could almost do this, right? You could, and again, you can still put a pocket here and a pocket here. So that's how I would do this one personally. But if you wanted to, you could stack it too if you don't want to use, if you want more of your image to show. So it depends on what you're using, how you're using it. If it was a blank, like with a lot of this color, that's where I would, like I want it was just plain like that, then I probably would do this. If I was using on a digital that I really liked the digital and didn't want to cover much of it up, I would go this way. And then you could add more to this. You know, you could put a little lace on the bottom and then spruce it up. But that's how I'm going to put it in my pocket box, just like that. And those are so nice and easy to do. And as you can see, it took no time. And really with a paper like this, there's not a lot you could put. You could keep it simple. And if you wanted to, again, pull out a label. I don't think I have any pink labels right now. I'm making, and you could, well, of course it's got to be smaller. You could put this here and make another cute little pocket. You might, oops. Especially if you're like, if you're thinking of sending this as happy mail to someone. It's kind of cute. And then you could put that there. And then you just put a little cute something in that little pocket. It decorates it. That's when I might pull out just to add a little something to that. I don't know if I have any handy here. My labels that I make. Let me see. I'll just grab the top layer. I make these labels and I do sell them. So if I didn't want a lot more color, then I could just go with a simple graphic one. And then I could just add to it, right? And make it more. And if I wanted to, and if I was giving it as a gift, I could even tuck a few little labels in that they could use on other projects. So it's a nice little way to tuck a little extra for them in. It's up to you. So that's how you could put, and it adds a little decoration. You could then, I just don't have any nice lace. You could even just add something pretty to it, add a little side cluster here. So there's many ways. Let me see, pull out. My clusters are right behind me. I often pull them out. Say you have a little cluster like this. You could add to it nice simple little cluster. This one might be too big, but no, you could just something simple. This one doesn't have anything on it, but you could sew a button on that. I even have a cute little heart one if you don't want it to be too much, but this heart one doesn't lay well because I did a bad knot on it. So you can pull out a cluster and just do that. Or if you don't want to put a pocket, just, I always make a lot of pink and cream. So then you add your little cluster there and you just, I could do a double cluster like this if I wanted to. So, you know, and then I could, if you wanted, you could put a little piece of ribbon little on each side there, or you could hang it right over because it's see-through. It's all up to you. So those are just ways that it is a really nice, easy way to make some pockets. out of paper. And of course, if you have music paper and that, you do the same thing. You can easily, oh, I have to redo that. It's better days. I haven't written on the inside. I'm taking them and just writing on the inside now because that idea didn't work well. All right, so those are pockets just out of the papers on my desk, scrap papers. And if you had, they don't necessarily have to be big ones. They could be, you can just take and fold it this way if you don't mind the letters going the wrong way. So whatever you have. Now I can't do that one, but I'm going to use this in another way in a second. So I'm just going to trim it up. I'm going to leave it out. I make this digital. I just make it, I use it for many different things. I love it, but I'm going to show a pocket in a second. I should have looked at the time I started and I forgot to, because then I know when I got to say goodbye, because I ramble on and on and on. And I can, you know, craft online forever. Making pockets is fun. The other thing that's fun is doing clusters. So I'm cutting this up because I'm going to show you. I'm just going to use this because this is in my scrap box. And I'm going to use it on the next pocket. So I'm just going to put those two to the side for now. Since they were in my hands, I got them ready. So even it can be this one I won't use like this, but just say it was because I have something in mind for this. But you could glue that down, and then this would be great one to do a vintage or a steampunk on it, even a botanical. So, you know, unfortunately, I don't have any book pages, I think, handy. Let me just peek through here, see if I've got any book page. I don't. Is this a book page or is this already folded in half? Oh, there was one of those larger pockets that I did. Right, so only thing I forgot to do is this one I just folded the dictionary page right in half and put that on the back. To put in like a tuck spot, just to put it in a tuck spot. So that's another, I mean, it's nice and simple. And I just took some graph paper, and so I took the dictionary paper, folded it in half, and then glued that to the back. And it's nice. It looks like a little envelope. That's what I wanted. So it was the same idea as the other one. I'm just going to see, there's a pile of book pages here. Do I have a book page I can do here? Oh, I've got a bit of one. Yay! I knew if I looked in the other pile, I might find something. There we go. So let's do this. I'll take that off. That can go in the scraps. So let's do a dictionary page one. And then we'll get onto the other pocket. Again, just fold it in half. This one I don't really have to worry about. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to tear it right about there, because I'm going to make that double pocket. Or I could have made a nice long one if I wanted to. This is where this will be great to collage on. I won't collage on that now because that's really time consuming. But then I can take the scraps I have and do a nice collage. Okay, so I'm going to take, now my hole punch sometimes, especially on dictionary, older paper. See, the hard part is to get it out without tearing it. Because I can, I mean, it's almost there, so I can easily trim it. So there. Oh, I did that a little lopsided. So if I wanted to fix that so it didn't look so lopsided, I'll just tear a little off the side here. Narrow that up. And yes, I do keep those. There we go. I'll just narrow it up. That's okay. When you make mistakes, you just figure out a way to fix it. I didn't look at it well enough. I should ink that because that'll be easier to ink. Because this paper is older, so it's very, you gotta, I can't be as rough with it. I'm gonna do the inside too. I'm not doing the inside on the other side, just this side. There we go. And if you want it to make it, just take it and I'm going to just give it a little bit of an older look there. And I'm going to continue that down here. And I think I have an idea where I want to go with this. I'm thinking with some nice lace. And I have a black and white vintage photo of a lady on it. And turn it into more of a vintage look to it. Because it's got that look to it. Now I'm going to just take the glue. Nice, easy pockets. And like, you don't necessarily have to mass make these if you don't want. But it's nice. Why did you work? And then suddenly now you're not going to work. Oh, there we go. Yep, she's napping beside me. Sometimes she just wants to be close. She likes to lay on my desk with me while I work. It's not always easy because she likes to spread out. So I fight for my space and I tell her, this is your spot, this is my spot. If you can stay. Okay, and there you go. I'm not going to necessarily decorate that right now, but like I just could see putting some nice lace and then putting a nice black and white photo or bringing in a little more collaging into it. What I'm going to do here, because I want it almost, if I was stacking it, I probably would want it exactly the same. And I'm not keeping those two because, you guys, I got so much scraps. They're out of control right now. Let me try to get this one a little bit better. And this time I think it's when I go down too far in the paper for some reason. When I do the tip ones. Let's get in here first. Bloop, bloop, bloop. I'm just going to go ahead and ink it all up like this. Since I've already got it in my hand. Now, if you don't like that rough edge, just take your scissors. It's just where I tore it with a ruler. And then just trim it up if you don't like that. So, and you can do the same with a music page with these. And there's nothing really difficult. Some people would have folded over, made a lip in that. That doesn't bother me. I don't really do that much. I could have done that with those excess. Because I'm actually pretty good. I'm surprised at that I can get this. I don't use up a lot of space with my glue. And I make sure I put very little on it. And if it does come out in a clump, I usually take and smear it with my finger. There we go. Don't have digitals, book pages work too. So you can double that up or separate it or use it in two different places. It's all up to you. So that is a nice simple pocket. And I'm just lucky I had that there. So the other time, because sometimes, again, if I'm going to do pockets, I'm using up scraps to make these pockets. I'm using what's available. I'm not printing anything. I'm using what's around. So I had this one sitting in my pocket box already done. It's the last one. And I just took some scrapbooking paper that I had to back it. Now, you don't necessarily, you could just make it with just the paper and have it sitting there. But I liked it like this. So that's what I did. And then I made this one yesterday when you were supposed to see it, but it didn't record. I put an extra little pocket there. Again, you could put a few little things in there for if you want to send it as a gift. I've been sometimes using this and putting some clusters are in it, or if I send some people some larger frames or things, I use it and then it tucks nicely in, and then it's kind of a gift in it. It's two things. You've got a pocket and you've got nice little fussy cuts as well. And again, I'm not worrying about that. If that bothers you, that's easy to trim up. But when I glue it down, you're not going to see that anyways. But that's an easy fix. And this is just a piece of scrap. This was a larger scrap, and I still have some of it left. And the same. And they can be different sizes. Like I have a longer one because I had this random paper sitting on my desk. So I just used it. Now, I didn't get that whole blue line up there. If I wanted, I could go along and trim that and make it all even. So it's just, and now I wouldn't do this one because it's small unless I'm maybe put it on as a secondary pocket, right? So that's a little short now. So let's make a few of those. I happen to have, this one's a little shorter, but again, it doesn't matter the width because again, how straight is it? I'm just looking at its straightness. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Maybe a little off the top here. So I'm just going to use this piece because it's sitting here. It's a random piece on my desk again. And let's see what we have to cover it. Do I have a piece that's long enough? This is left over from my sister's wedding. I did the table settings. I didn't like how it turned out. Didn't like my printing. I didn't like how uneven it was. So instead of throwing it away, I brought them all home with me. And I'm just realizing this is really lopsided. And I didn't have a cutter there. And we weren't going to spend $30 for a cutter for one thing. So I'm going to, this will fit in here nicely. I just need to know where to tear it. Why is this ruler? I keep feeling like it's not sitting well. I'm just going to tear it. Oop, I didn't do that well. So again, I'm just taking, and you could do this with a music page scrap that you have as well. So I'm going to just take this off from that scrap. Now, I'm going to go ahead and glue this, and then I'm going to trim it all up. I'm thinking I might put the writing on the inside. That's what I'm going to do. So now I could, I didn't leave enough at the bottom. Last time I folded this over and I forgot to do that. When I tore that all up, I would have to trim that top of that pocket off, which I can do if I wanted to still do that. Oh, I'm mad at myself. Might need to use that in a different pocket now. That's okay. Mistakes happen. You just go with the flow, Christina. So what we'll do is we'll tear it here, if it'll let me. And I'm going to tear it here. Another scrap. And I'm just going to even this off a bit. That might not, nope, didn't work the way. I have to fix that with my scissors. Okay. Oof, that was really bad tearing, Christina. Or maybe I didn't tear that. It just, when I cut something out, take the white off. Now, let's see if I did this well enough. So what I do is to measure where I want it, my folds, I just do this And you could glue it right on the back of it if you want it. And I'm going to do that this time because in the other pocket, I'll do it both ways. But the only thing I'm going to do is take some of the bulk out of it. And I'm just going to cut this little corner out here just to remove some of the bulk of that corner. And this time, I'm going to do this a bit different. I'm trying a new way. I don't need white glue for that. And where did I put the white glue lid? That's most of the problem sometimes why it doesn't go on, is because it gets lost in my mess. Yeah, I'll find it in a few minutes, I think. I hope. I think. Normally, I would fold if I was doing a fold, but I'm going to do this a bit different. So I am putting the glue on the inside instead. And then I'm going to tuck this back down in here. I'm going to glue that there. And I'm going to have to add a little glue here because, and I'm going to tuck that there. And I'm going to tuck that there. And then I'm just going to trim the top off here. There we go. A pocket. Come on, glue. Needs a little more glue. So then, and I didn't do this. I think I can still do that. You don't have to do the keyhole if you don't want to. It's totally up to you if you want to leave it. And this time, oh, and look at, I did it so lopsided. I didn't even take the time to measure it. I'm going to put that there. I just take the piece. Takes a few minutes sometimes to fiddle with it. There we go. I did not center that well. That happens. I'll still use the pocket. There we go. I wish I'd stand up in a second. And there we go. A nice simple little pocket. And again, if you had, I'm just going to use one of these. You could double them up on a page like that if you wanted to. If you wanted to use this as, and you didn't do that, you could put thing and do a side pocket if you had a longer piece. So there we go. I'm just going to see how many minutes we're at. If I can tell, look at with my glasses. Oh, we're already at 43 minutes. Can you imagine? That time goes so fast. So fast. Let me see if I got another piece of scrap. I have this cardstock here. I'm just going to cut that. And I will use that because I make these out of this. I make different length ones, and they're cute in a little pocket just as a decoration. Or it's good for I use this as I might cut it in half when I make those little lace and material. I like to have this to glue with and to have a little sturdy piece, so then I just layer on top of it. So I use those for that. Now this, I'm going to do a larger one, and I'm just going to try to straighten it up a bit. I use the word try. It's a bit better. So I'm making a larger pocket this time. And I'm going to do something really bad because I want the majority of that to be seen. If I go here, it's good. Yeah, perfect. Perfect, perfect. Except for what I should do is just move this over so that I'll have that little bit bigger of a scrap. And then, yeah, I'm going to tear this up like this. That's a good piece for a collage. Okay, and then this can fold here. Before I do that, just since I have that one already folded over. There we go. It's too big to go in there. Fold that over. Now, I do it this way for you guys to see the other way you can do it. So then you can glue it to the top. And then it creates that as well. But I actually, now that I've done it, I kind of like it this way. So I'm going to continue now on doing it that way. I'm just going to cut off that corner piece. So you can see, you can do them whatever size you like to make them. And you can have various sizes depending on your choice. I'll get all those pieces cleaned up later. So now I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to put that to the side for a second. I'm going to glue that, that. Bring that right down. Get it in that crease nicely. Let's see, I got to do a little glue on the edge here. Easy fix. Oop. I went and glued it again because it, being the last one to glue on, it lost some of its stickiness. There we go. And then if you want, you can even that up very simply. And I still didn't do, should have used my little scissors. There we go. Put all that garbage later. Now this isn't totally balanced in the middle, but I'm not worried about that. I like how it turned out. And it almost got rid of a big scrap. It created two little scraps, but that can be used in many ways. Now I'm going to try to do a bit better job at evening these out. Again, it does not want to cut. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. Because take my glue, run my glue along it. So this is nice, easy pockets. So for the challenge, this is from Junk Journal Craft and Chat. This is we're doing pocket challenge to fill up our either pocket box or basket. I have a basket for mine, but if you don't have a basket, a box can use. I have my tags in a box that I collaged on the front of it. So you can do whatever you do. I might need a box soon with the amount of pockets I have, but I'm going to be working on some journals tomorrow. So try to use up some of the pockets, like this one. Well, I haven't started my blue. This kind of be nice in a blue journal. And what I'm not too worried about it being perfect because I can ink it up better later. So then there you go. You have a larger pocket. Sometimes with these ones, it wouldn't work so much with this. But I'll take and I'll put a pocket. I'm just going to fold this lightly in half. Maybe not that high. I'll put a pocket here. And I make narrow scrappy pads, and I don't have any one. Let me see if I have one in here. I can show you what I mean. So I'll put it on this because it's such a long pocket. I'll put this here in a different pattern paper, of course. And I'll put it here, and I'll show you one in here just to take, because there's so much room there. Let me see if I have one in here. Do I have one in here that I did that with? And doesn't look, see here what I talk about with, I put that little pocket and I just put that tag in there. That's what I love, doing that little extra pocket. And I don't have one in this journal. Why don't I have one? It's one of my favorite things to do. And I don't have one. So this is one of my scrappy pads. And I make them in all kinds of different ways. I have to do a scrappy pad video. If patient, hopefully we don't click off. I don't know how handy. Oh yeah, it's very handy. I know I have one in this one for sure. Just to find it. This is another journal I got to finish. I'm just trying to find the page that I did it on. Got to be coming up. What? Am I losing my mind where I think I've done this and it's not? Oh, here. I knew I did it. So I made this larger pocket. It's a double pocket with 2 pieces of paper. And then I took a little piece of paper and I made this cute little scrappy pad. I put a little image with a little bow, and it's held together with whatever these are called at the moment, I can't think. And then I stick it in here. I've got to fix it, the glue. I had a really bad glue that was not holding well. And then I put this on the outside and put the paper on the inside. And it sits in like that. And maybe what I'll do, maybe tomorrow we'll do scrappy pads. So find a lot of your papers. I know a lot of ladies, they don't care if it's white. Most of the time I try to find papers that are double-sided, but you can use white-sided too. It doesn't matter. I'm terrible for those things, and it just sits. And I love that with a nice long pocket. I still see a lot of that digital, but then I just add a little extra to it, and then I just put the lace down here. So it's a nice way. This is a nice simple pocket I do with paper. It's just 2 layers of paper. And because it's a music page, and then I've got there, and I got there. So I love making those when you've got a nice high pocket like that. And that's what I would do on this pocket when I put it in a page. I'll put a little side pocket here and do that with it. I'm just going to put that on my desk behind me and put it back properly. So those are some pockets that you can do with just some paper, cardstock, and you necessarily don't have to do cardstock. If you have, if it's heavy enough, you could just, I don't know. You can just do it that way. This is a tag, a style of tags that we're going to make one next week on Tuesday. So there we go. We did those ones. And then we did the simple paper ones in different ways. And this is be easy to mass make a bunch of them if you have a lot of large scrap papers or book pages or music pages. And there you go. So if you're part of Junk Journal Craft and Chat, and if you're not, you can come join us. We welcome you into the group. And I'll make sure I put a link to that group and join in the challenge. It's going up today. And then what I ask is when you do your pockets, take a picture, put it in the event thing, and show us your mask making of your pockets and the style, what you got done. All right, and that'll be in there. Normally this goes up on Wednesday. I'm a day late because I made one video and forgot to make the second one to show more pockets. So I gave you lots of range of pockets to do for this event. So you can choose your styles that you would like, or choose just one and mass make it, or choose two, or between now and next Wednesday. Pick a day. Say one day you're going to make, say you give yourself a goal, I'm going to have 10 of these on hand. So that day make 10 of them. Then I'm going to go through my envelopes and see if I can make 10 pockets with my envelope. I'm going to grab 10 pages of book pages and make these with my scraps and have those ready. And then one day I'm going to grab all my scraps and see what I can make in pockets one day and do the same thing. And each day next week, you can take one of these styles, mass make it, and by next Wednesday, look at all the pockets. And I only doing, if I were to spend a full hour on one style, I would get much more done. So there you go. Lots and lots of pocket ideas. Please like, comment on the video. It really, really helps me out. If you haven't subscribed, I would love you to subscribe to my channel. You can check us out at Junk Journal Craft and Chat. My page where I sell is Purple Hearts Creations by Chrissy. And I'll also put my Ko-fi or Kofo, I'm not sure, I think it's Ko-fi, I don't know, where you can buy me a coffee and help me, support me, and continue to be able to make these videos for you. And hopefully I'll get even better at them. And I thank you again, ladies, for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of the day. And let's see those mass make pictures. If you don't want to join the group, you can always go on Instagram. I'll put my Instagram link below, and tag me in it as well if you want to just tag me that way with your pockets. All right. Have a wonderful day. You'll find all the links below. Bye for now.